On 18 June 2022, the video of National Taiwan University NTU Gamelan Guitar Study was live-streamed on YouTube as part of the online program of the first Bali World Culture Celebration 2022, commemorating the ongoing growth of Balinese gamelan music and dance around the globe. During the making process of this video, leading instructor Professor Yingfen Wang, director Yunshou Cai, and me have discovered many interesting materials on the development of gamelan in Taiwan. Though the pandemic has limited our time to play gamelan in classrooms, it gave us thoughts to explore the possibility of alternative methods and pedagogical reflections in both learning and teaching gamelan in these uncertain times. I would like to take this opportunity to further explore and reflect on what exactly are we teaching and learning. In the following, I'm going to share some preliminary thoughts on the development of Balinese Gamelan Group at NTU with a focus on alternative practices during the pandemic from 2020 to 2022. Gamelan as a global phenomenon has always been a heated topic since the very start of academic involvement in world music. Since the 1960s, when Professor Mento Hood proposed the concept of bimusicality in studies of ethnomusicology, it provided the opportunity for a more inclusive and technical angle in studying musical cultures. This approach is influential in promoting, for example, Indonesian music in the US music programs, and gamelan is then widely disseminated into institutions around the world. Research has also been done on the diverse development of use and usage of gamelan as resistant to hegemonic ideologies and as a tool of alternative education. The development of gamelan in Taiwan can also be seen in researches of Li and Chai, though it's only mentioned as part of the backdrop of performing arts history in general. Thus, there are more to discuss and to discover. The first Balinese gamelan was introduced in Taiwan in 1985 by Professor Han Guohuang to the School of Music at National Institute of the Arts, which has now become Taipei National University of the Arts. Then in 1993 and 1994, two more sets of gamelan angklung were purchased in Taipei and Tainan, respectively. In 2015 and 2017, indirectly encouraged by the Taiwanese government's new southbound policy, National Jinan University and National Taiwan University also acquired gamelan angklung and started relevant musical courses. In 2018, NTU purchased Gong Kepiar and Gender Wayang. I've now categorized the development of NTU gamelan into three different phases so as to clarify the process and changing pedagogy during each period. We started our gamelan course as an academic course in spring 2018 with gamelan angklung. The course was co-taught by Professor Wang from our institute and Professor Li Jinghui from Taipei National University of the Arts, who has now been teaching gamelan in Taiwan for almost 30 years. At the end of that semester, we invited Balinese composer Nyoman Winda and dance artist Gusti Agong Ayuwasiki to come for a week of intensive training before our final performance. The performance was very well received. From then, we had continual cooperation with them, not only by offering us their teaching experience and knowledge on local ontologies, but also helping us to acquire the second set of Balinese gamelan Gong Kepiar in 2018. The relentless connection with Balinese artists helped us to be sustainable. With their help, NTU held the very first gamelan Gong Kepiar performance with Professor Made Hood and Professor Wang co-taught the course in spring 2019. And also many other famous Indonesian artists performed together with us, including Mas Siddiq and Professor Made Hood's wife Nyoman Somawati. From then on, we hope to maintain a long-term cultural exchange with Bakwinda and Ibu Wasiki. Professor Wang and I flew to Bali to learn from Bakwinda for a month in the summer of 2019 and returned to school to teach Bakwinda's own compositional and angklung piece, Lingdar Badak, to students in the fall 2019 semester. After 2020, however, the pandemic makes it impossible for Bakwinda to come and have physical intercultural exchange with us. Yet the idea that Balinese gamelan is an evolving and continuing practice brought up some thoughts on cultivating our own group in local contexts. This idea flares up and we continue to have gamelan classes and several performances. In the following, I shall share some measures we had to continue learning, teaching, and performing. First of all, we developed some online methods for learning new pieces from Bak Winda. To maximize the benefits of teaching Balinese gamelan by following the tradition of Magulu Bangu, Mallet as teacher, as closely as possible, Bak Winda suggests we can learn by videos, making use of the recording of bodily movement, mirror images, and sound to mind memorization. For example, during the summer of 2020, we learned a piece Siwanata from Bak Winda via online. He has first recorded the video of both Bolos and Sangsi part, and then we practiced ourselves, recorded our own video, and sent them back to him. Eventually, he gave us feedback and chatted with us by using video talks. The process was surprisingly smooth, and the effect is quite remarkable. This method has given us thoughts on a wider usage of video learning. For example, in spring 2021, we started to learn a more difficult piece called Yau Yick Sau, composed by Bak Winda in 1987 as a request by the Tabanan Regency to compete in the Bali Arts Festival. This piece requires more variety of techniques and more complicated relationship between Gangsa, Kotekan, and Rayong. Bak Winda has recorded different instruments in different sections, also in different angles, and Professor Wang and me also made videos for students to revise, showing how the Kotekan in the Bolos and Sangsi part shall work together. On top of using videos as the medium of knowledge transfer, we started to make use of a Gendere app for learning, which contained the function of damping and also can switch between Belloc and Slendro scale. In spring 2021, Taiwan was locked down due to the outbreak of pandemic. Classes were all turned to virtual platform. We encourage students to use this app to finish learning our pieces. Though the app cannot replace a real gamelan, it is for good measure to remember melody. And to our surprise, we initially think that the students may be bored and discouraged by this dull and lifeless app, but then they turn out to find advantages in it. Some students mentioned in their feedbacks saying that it is useful to remember the melody and can practice any type at home. Another interesting comment is that because of the touch sound made out of tapping your phone to damp the sound using our own fingers, students realize the rhythm of Kotekan by understanding the importance of damping. One student even made his own video by combining Bolos and Sangsi part of a piece Puspanjali to make a complete Kotekan melody. I mark this stage of NTU Gamelan as a self-sufficient stage, not only due to the absence of Balinese artists, but also refer to an era where we started to reflect on the importance of anchoring Balinese arts in Taiwan. How well do we value Southeast Asian performing arts in Taiwan, and how sustainable can we be? There has been a growing Southeast Asian population in Taiwan since 1990s in different ways, including migrant workers, students staying for work after graduation, and also marriage. Meanwhile, Taiwan kept expanding its relations with Southeast Asia via the new southbound policy, including trading, foreign affairs, and education. To adapt the inclusion of Southeast Asian affairs in Taiwan, schools and institutions have offered classes and programs that enlarge our understanding on new immigrants and the related Southeast Asian language and cultural heritage. Thus, we also try to promote our gamelan in ways that can reenact the idea of inclusivity by inviting Indonesian students to class and also collaborating with Indonesian artists residing in Taiwan. For example, we promoted our gamelan courses to Indonesian Student Association, and as a result, we have at least 2 to 3 Indonesian students in class for every semester. Also, Anastasia Melati, an experienced Javanese dance artist residing in Taiwan, has also performed with us several times. We also reach out to perform in Indonesian-themed events, such as the opening ceremony for the Taoyuan exhibition for Indonesian music and dance, and also the Indonesian Month activities at the National Palace Museum Southern Branch. Both performances were performed with a diverse combination of Taiwanese, Indonesian, Malaysian, Japanese, and Hong Kong students and artists. To end with a little story, since the pandemic influence has been significantly reduced, we have finally been able to invite Batwinder to come in November. When he started to practice Wayugiri with us, he expressed that it's more efficient for us to learn our own parts from videos, and he can instruct on the dynamics of the piece when he comes. These 2 years of the pandemic luckily did not stop our progress. Rather, it gave us opportunities to reflect on our own learning experience and our relationship with Gamelan. I hope that my sharing can embark more discussions on the localizing and sustainable measures on Balinese Gamelan, and more important, the cultural participation and mutual understanding between Taiwan and Indonesian performing arts. Matur suksmo, terima kasih, and thank you very much.